Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
It was a problem because we were selling designer buttons made into jewelry.
Designer buttons made into jewelry.
And the designer
sent you a cease and desist because you can't sell designer buttons and make them into jewelry and profit. For who was the designer who gave you the cease and desist?
Chanel.
This is the plaintiff, Cecile. She says she's been friends with the defendant for over 40 years, and she can't believe it's come down to this, a lawsuit. Turns out her one-time friend stole 22 pieces of valuable jewelry from her, and she refuses to return them. Well, friend or no friend, she wants the value of her stolen jewelry, which is $3,515.26, and she's suing for it now. This is the defendant, Maureen Bennon. She says she and the plaintiff started an online jewelry selling business, and the plaintiff still owes her money. She's keeping the 22 pieces of the jewelry until the plaintiff's debt is paid off. Simple as that. The plaintiff has thus far refused to pay her what she's owed, and she's not giving her anything back until she does. She's accused of breaking up a long-time friendship. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,387.50, the amount she's owed.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Cecile, doing business as Vintage Button Bling. You are suing Maureen Bennon, your former partner, for $3,515.26. You have a counterclaim against her for $3,787.50. The two of you have known each other for 40 years. And here we are. Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
Well, first of all, we are not partners. I started a jewelry business 10 years ago. I was having lunch with the defendant and told her that I wanted to just start selling online instead of continuing to travel. And she expressed interest in repping it, basically. So
repping it, but you were splitting the profits 50, the gross, not even the profits 50-50.
That was my big mistake.
Okay, that's called a partner. Go ahead, go on.
Okay, well, that was my big mistake.
Okay.
So her role in it was to take a picture of the jewelry, to post it online, and to ship it when it was sold. My role was to design the jewelry, to buy all the parts necessary for it, to pay all the expenses, the internet charges, the shipping charges, all the cost of the jewelry.
Why didn't you just do it yourself? If she had such a small role, why didn't you do it?
I just didn't want to do, I don't like the technical part of it.
Exactly.
I like
So she
the
had
design
something
part.
valuable to you, which is the technical part. So you decide it's valuable enough that you're going to give her, for some reason, your agreement is 50% of the gross, even though the expenses are mostly coming out of your side.
Entirely.
Okay,
not
well,
mostly.
so okay, nobody made you do that. Why'd you do that?
I know, that was the foolish part
So
on
that
my
went on
part.
for how long?
That went on for the last 2 years.
All right, now the first year went well.
The first year went well.
And what happens the second year?
The second year, we were not on the same internet site.
Why not?
Well, it was a problem because we were selling designer buttons made into jewelry.
Designer buttons made into jewelry.
And the designer
sent you a cease and desist because you can't sell designer buttons and make them into jewelry and profit for, who was the designer who gave you the cease and desist?
Chanel.
Oh, and how many times did Chanel ask you to cease and desist?
10.
Well, you guys both got away with trade infringement and murder. Okay, so now, so you both get away with murder until when? Until Etsy had enough of you and then canceled your...
Etsy does not want to deal with anything unless Chanel gives us permission.
Of course, because you're not allowed to do what you're doing.
Yeah. So
you got fired from Etsy. Where'd you go after that?
Shopify.
And now Shopify, you figured you'd be on the lam with Shopify for a while because it would take Chanel a bit to catch up.
Not really.
Who's the lady who's with you?
This is Devin. She assisted me in all aspects of my business.
All right, so you go to Shopify. How'd the sales go at Shopify?
Well, Shopify is such a totally different thing that you have to build the traffic.
What do you mean?
Create an online presence.
Go ahead, you can answer.
Create an online presence, essentially?
Yeah, I know. That's actually what you got paid for and got 50% of the profits for, knowing how to create an online presence.
Right.
But how exactly did you guys create an online presence for year two?
They created social media accounts, and they paid for some Facebook ads, but, you know, it was basically came to a point in order to...
It just wasn't profitable.
Exactly.
So then who decided it's not profitable and we should part ways?
I did.
Okay, what'd you tell her?
I just said I don't see how I can keep spending the money that I've been putting out.
What money were you putting out?
The money that I was spending was on you because I'm not the computer expert. So because of the 50-50 partnership, I was willing to invest my time and the money to learn how to do it.
Okay, so hold on. So you were being paid a salary by her? By the hour or how?
Hourly, yes.
By the hour. What was your hourly rate?
$25.
Okay. What's the relationship between you two before this? Anything or?
None.
Okay.
Met her in an elevator.
Okay. What is it you tell her? We're going to part ways how? What'd you say?
It was all done on emails.
Okay, so do you have the emails?
Yes.
May I see the emails? Hand them to my bailiff, please.
It's additional from the plaintiff.
So Maureen sends you an email at 12:13 on November 27th. 10% of sales till I reach 2,000. I want to retrieve the approximately 2,000 I am underwater to break even. What 2,000 were you underwater?
In what I spent.
Why would that be appropriate for you to recoup the cost when she doesn't get to recoup the cost? But anyway, you agree to this.
I agree. I felt coerced because...
How were you coerced? What was the
there-
size of the gun that she put to your head?
There was no gun.
Right.
But there was never a mention of returning it without the 10%.
So say no and call the police if she has your stolen goods. You knew how to do that later. You did do that later. So you end up agreeing that you will give her 10% of future sales.
Yes.
So you work out this new deal, and then what happens? Do you guys meet, and do you get the inventory? What ends up happening?
We agreed that I was going to pick up the inventory, and before I even got home, there was an email from them saying that they had forgotten to put in the most valuable of the collection. It was 79 pieces. Then the defendant decided that she wanted the money in cash in advance instead of waiting while the sales were, which I would never have agreed to.
When did she say that to you?
It's on the, I think it's like.
Okay, so hold on. So this is December 2nd. I paid Devin more than 8 hours, $25 per hour. I assume we'll split her bill. $100 each. Says who? Why does she have to pay that other $100? Your deal is done.
I guess you're right.
Of course. And that was, as you call it, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
Because you'd already extorted from her the $2,000 in future sales to compensate you so that your business venture doesn't cost or risk you anything. That's what a business venture is. It's cost and risk for payoff. Okay, may I see the jewelry?
You're going to want some.
No, because I'm going to get in trouble with Chanel. But yes, you are right. I am going to want some. Okay, so which part is a button? The center part, and then the outside is embellishment that you put on, or yeah?
Right.
Are you remembering these as I'm pulling them out?
I'm remembering them, and I had not been given a list or pictures of what she had, and they're all one of a kind, so I really couldn't bring pictures.
I know. Is this everything that was in that box?
Yeah, and a list was provided via email.
Okay.
You might have made a list, but I don't think I ever emailed
give her a second.
it to her because things got a little shaky with us.
Yeah, but this is her jewelry. It's not yours. You have no right to keep this stuff at all. What right would you have to keep this
wasn't. I was holding it until...
Until what? Until she met your list of demands? I mean, that's ransom. You can't know.
Can I say something?
Yeah. It takes a lot to get you mad.
Well, you're right. My husband tells me that all the time. That $100, which was the final straw for me, she gets $25 an hour. So her fee was $200. 16 man-hours to pack a box. I'm sorry.
16 man-hours.
8 hours to pack a box. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
1 hour to pack a box.
It doesn't even matter. If it was $1,
I know,
it would make me mad.
Those were my next words.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
How long have you been in this business?
10 years.
10 years. And are you retired from whatever you used to do before that?
Yes, I was in the fashion industry before that, and I had a fabulous retail store.
Okay. And what about you? Were you in the same industry?
I was in the manufacturing end, and Sissy was our first account.
Oh, my goodness.
She bought clothes from me.
That is so sad. All those years ago. How did we get here, ladies? How many? You have a lot of friends you've known for 40 years? Because that feels precious and special. All right. So let's see what we're suing for here, and let's go through it item by item. You are suing for the jewelry. The jewelry is here. Before the parties leave the courthouse, we're going to go over everything to make sure that that's everything that you can prove was over there. Okay?
Thank you.
That takes care of the jewelry, which is the bulk of your lawsuit. The $281.26, I don't think there's a dispute about. There were $531.26 in sales that went directly to your credit card that shouldn't have, right?
They went to my bank account.
Or your bank account, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you agree that she is owed $281 of that because you're taking the other $250 for the Shopify.
I not only agreed, I let her know everything that came to me.
So there's no question she's entitled to the $281.26.
No problem.
Okay, so now let's talk about your counterclaim. $100 for her portion of the assistant. I find against you on that for the reasons Of already described. $250 of the internet charges, that's taken care of by only giving her the $281.26. And now the $2,000, 10% of future sales. Why would you have the right to sue for that now?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Good idea, bad idea to go into business with a lifelong friend?
Bad.
Why?
Why? Because you don't want to mix personal and business.
Yet you do know the person better, right?
True, but I say bad as well. I think because you're willing to let things slide that might eat you up inside and they might take advantage of the situation.
Well, that's well put. What do you say?
I say bad as well. Never mix business with pleasure.
They always say that. I've never quite understood what that meant going inside the courtroom.
My 50% of the business was producing the photographs and the marketing. She took all my work and all her work, and she's suing me.
Okay, so now if your deal is that you get 10% of future sales up to a cap of 2,000, why aren't you waiting to get the 10% of future sales up to a cap of 2,000? She's suing you because you wouldn't give her back her jewelry. Did you try to get the jewelry back and she said, I'm not giving it to you?
Yes.
Because you wouldn't give her the $100?
Yeah.
The $100.
This is about $100.
But you guys are killing me. How do you let this get in the way of a 40-year friendship? Just $100.
It's not just that, because her last email is an absolute ransom note. You give me a check for $23.50
The
she thought
$2,000, which she
what
demands
thought the
now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you figure that you get to demand that?
Because I felt I could not know any way about what was going on for sale.
And that, see, you know what the problem with you is? You want to be a businesswoman and you want everybody else to absorb your risks. That's right. You wouldn't know. You would have to rely on her being honest, and you would have a right of auditing. That's the right that any ex-business partner has when they have a right of future sales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, then, what makes you think you could get her to agree to 10% of future sales and then change your mind and say, change my mind. I want out of the business, and you got to pay me $2,000. You know why? Because you thought she was a pushover. Because she had kind of been a pushover. She had been nice about it. She gave you 50% of the gross. She didn't demand any of her costs out. You demanded your costs out, and she had agreed. But guess what? She had her limit, and so do I. You do not get 10% of future sales today. Now you want to argue to me why she doesn't even get 10% of future sales in the future. Why do you feel that she has forfeited that? Tell me. Because she didn't give you your jewelry?
No, because she changed.
Well, that's kind of why I feel, so that would have been a good answer, but go ahead.
Well, she didn't give me the jewelry.
But why else?
That's
Why else?
obvious. But she also changed that agreement, and when you change an agreement, it's no longer an agreement.
So your position is that she breached the agreement by demanding it up front, by not handing you back jewelry that she had originally agreed to hand you back?
That's right.
I agree with you. I believe that she has, in essence, breached the agreement herself, and that I'm not going to hold you to an agreement that she breached in multiple fashions.
Thank you.
I'm ordering the pieces of jewelry to go back to you because they belong to you. I am ordering $281 paid to you because that is what everybody agrees should go to you from the $531 that shouldn't have gone there. I'm not ordering anything for Devin. That's your own at your expense. And I am ordering that you no longer are entitled to keep $2,000 of future sales because you have breached the agreement. Therefore, we're done. That is my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff is going to get that jewelry back plus a couple of $100 in it. And Ms. Bennon, the judge thinks you asked for too much.
She did, yes.
No, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that all the pictures that she continues to use to sell the jewelry.
Yeah, you were partners. You broke it up, you know.
Yeah,
You
but the
changed the deal.
pictures belong to me.
Well, they belong to the business. The bottom line is you asked for a little too much, and it broke the back there,
Well,
and that's why it's all over.
I
Okay?
heard what the judge said.
All right. Sorry about that. You're going to have to live with the case. Okay?
Yes.
The
Where do
door's
we
that
go?
way.
This
You go that way. Follow Rusty. Cecile, step over here, please.
Sure.
What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking justice was done.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of the case to me. I just have a very strong feeling of justice, and
It's over.
it's over.
The deal is over.
It's done.
It's 40 years gone, right?
Gone.
Oh, my gosh. What a shame. Thank you very much.
Thank
You
you.
may leave. Okay. Harvey, what do you think?
Well, Doug, essentially the judge allowed the plaintiff to rescind the deal because the defendant significantly breached this contract. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was getting frustrated by your forms. Now, Taxes is uploading your forms with a snap, and a TurboTax expert will do your taxes for you. One who's backed by the latest tech, which cross-checks millions of data points for absolute accuracy, all of which makes it easy for you to get the most money back, guaranteed. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
So good, so good, so good.
Get ready, because Clear the Rack is on at your Nordstrom Rack store. Now through Monday, find incredible deals on Wear Now styles. On sale for even less at Nordstrom Rack. Take an extra 25% off red tag clearance throughout the store from brands like Adidas, Marc Jacobs, Steve Madden, and more. All sales final. The best stuff goes fast. So shop this sale at Nordstrom Rack today. Please see NordstromRack.com or ask a store associate for details.
This is the plaintiff. Marquana Curry Tibbins. She says she purchased a car from the defendant, and she promised it was safe for her and her 4 kids. What a liar! On the 4th day she was driving it on the highway at high speeds, the wheel flew off that thing, and she spun out. Thank God the 5 of them weren't killed. She has proof positive the defendant knew there was a wheel problem, and she's suing her for the $1,268.09 she's owed. This is the defendant, Marcy Huff. She says she would never put anyone's life in harm's way, and she takes offense to the fact the plaintiff's insinuating that. She drove that car for 4,000 miles, never had any major problems with it, and she's sorry if the plaintiff got into an accident in it, but how's that her fault? She's accused of putting a mom in grave danger.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff bought a car from the defendant, says it was a death trap for her and her kids. But the defendant says she drove it for 4,000 miles with no problem. It's the case of you trapped me.
Okay. So you bought a car from the defendant.
Yes,
How did
ma'am.
you see the car advertised?
I seen it on Facebook from a good friend of mine.
And it was for sale for how much?
She originally wanted $2,200 for it.
And you talked her down to?
15.
All right. And did you have the 15? Did you go test drive it?
Yes, I did.
And did it ride fine?
It was kind of rocky.
So why'd you buy it?
Because she said that it was nothing major wrong with it, but the thermostat.
But if you felt it was rocky, why would you buy it?
Because I really don't know about cars. Like, I'm a female.
You know what? Okay, first of all, I can't stand that. Don't say that. I'm a female.
Right.
I may not know about engines, but I know if a car feels rocky and I should run, not walk away from the purchase. So either it didn't feel rocky, which is probably what the deal is, or it did feel rocky, and then when I ask you why, the answer cannot possibly be, I'm just a girl. You know, because that's just silly.
Right.
Okay, so how long did you test drive it for?
Maybe like 5 or 10 minutes.
And did you have a mechanic with you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I mean, I don't expect you to go shopping with them because that would be expensive, but once you find a car you like, you might want to bring a mechanic and take a look at it. Nobody does that. They'd rather file a lawsuit afterwards. So, what went wrong on this one? Because it was pretty big.
Me and my kids just got off the freeway. I was coming home from work and picking up my kids, and all of a sudden we're getting right off the freeway and the tire, it flew off. We're inside the tire. Me and my 5 kids are in the car. The car is going towards cars. Cars are like scattering everywhere. The tire is bouncing down the street and almost ran and almost hit somebody's storefront. But the guy was outside smoking a cigarette, and he hopped out and grabbed the tire from hitting his storefront. And me and my kids were shooken
So
up.
did you feel the crash as your car went down on the one side?
Yes, and it caused more damage to the vehicle.
Right. Okay. What was wrong with that car?
To my understanding, it wasn't an everyday car for me. It was sitting up for about 5 months. I had a mechanic who was a backyard mechanic look at the car. He drove it around for about 5 months.
Wait, so he drove it for 5 months?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, did some work on it.
Oh, he's a friend of yours?
Yes.
Okay. And then he didn't want to buy it?
He did want to buy it.
Okay.
He
Why'd
didn't
you
have
just
the money
sell it to him?
He didn't have the money up front.
Oh, okay. So you end up selling it to her. I presume you took the car back from the mechanic?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And what did he say was wrong with it at that point?
Nothing. I drove the car to work after she contacted me, and the battery died. Had to have the car towed, had a new battery placed in it. So I drive to her house, my boyfriend and I, and we drove around for about 20 minutes or so.
With her?
Correct.
Okay.
She was driving the car.
She was driving the car?
Yes.
Okay. Did she ever complain that it was rough?
She tells me that she knows about cars. I told her that the check engine light was coming on because it needed...
Why did she say, I know about cars? What was she trying to say?
Because she was telling me that she knows minor things that the car needs. Something about the rotors. She said something about the rotors need to be replaced. She had an inkling about what the minor repairs that the car needed.
Okay.
The check engine light was coming on, and I told her that the thermostat needed to be replaced.
And then did she go in and take it to get a new thermostat?
No, I gave her my mechanic, the one that had worked on the car.
Okay, and then she calls him, and you had a problem with him, right?
Yes, I did.
What was the problem?
First off, he was working on my car and he was drunk. He was smoking weed.
So he didn't end up fixing your car?
No, he didn't change anything. He took her money.
Okay, so you take it to another facility.
They fixed the thermostat, and then they said it was a thermostat sensor. But she never said anything was wrong with the body of the car. And when I say the car was shaking, I mean that the tires, that she said she put brand new tires on it.
Wait,
all the tires
stop a
were dry
second.
rotted.
Did you put brand new tires on?
I never told her that,
Did you
no.
ever say you put brand new tires
No.
on? Do you have an advertisement that proves that she said that she put brand new tires on it?
No.
All right. So go ahead.
When she got in the car, she told me she put a new battery in the vehicle. And she said, nothing's wrong with it. I'm 100% sure it's safe for you and your kids.
Okay.
So then when she gave me the receipt for the battery, she like slipped it in the car and put the manual on top of it. So then after we get in this accident or whatever, I look and she paid $70 that the car looked at, and it clearly says.
Can I see that?
Yeah, all this stuff is wrong with it. You can also see at the
Okay,
bottom.
hold on. So your boyfriend took it into Yorktown Service Plaza.
Correct.
And it says on the bottom, recommended service. Spark plugs and wire set appear original. Steering wheel off center and pulls right. Front wheel bearing noisy. Minimum one side needed. All tires are cracked, split, and dry rotted. Your boyfriend knows that on February 11th, according to this. Okay. So, did you bring the car in to get an estimate on the repairs?
Yes, I did.
And what did they tell you?
$1,100 to $1,200.
To do what? Let me see the estimate. So, according to you, the tires get discussed. And she tells you, I put 4 new tires. Do you have eyeballs, though? Because she didn't, and those, according to Yorktown, a few days earlier, they're saying that it was cracked, split, and dry rotted.
Yes, it was snow, like all over the tires. It was ice. And then it was like around 6, so it was kind of dark outside.
Okay, there's numerous texts between you two. Do you have anywhere in a text where she tells you, I put 4 new tires? All right.
No.
You deny ever having told her that?
I never told her.
You deny ever having discussed tires with her?
Never told her that.
So even if she didn't know it was a death threat, even if she thought there were no problems, does she have any recourse?
No, because she should have done her research before buying the car.
What kind of research?
If there were any problems.
How does she know that?
Get a professional.
There you go.
There's a website called Carfax, which provides facts on used cars. And also, the used car market is a classic example of a market for lemons, where it's just...
You almost sound like a Carfax pitchman to me. You looking for a job or something?
Nope, they're really good at advertising.
Not a bad pitch, man. I'm telling you, you should think about this going inside the courtroom.
Whenever you buy a used car, you know it's an as-is sale. If you don't know, you should know. It's an as-is sale. That means there's no warranty on the car. That means you darn well better know whether the car is in good shape or not. And you can say, like every litigant says, well, I trusted her. Why? You just met her. You met her on the internet, so that's stupid. In any event, what you are saying is, well, Judge, there may not be any warranty on a used car because it's an as-is sale, but she promised me these were 4 new tires. And that's what you have to say here to have a complaint about the tires. Mm-hmm. Because it wouldn't be enough for you to get reimbursed if there is this document that says front wheel bearing noisy, minimum one side needed, all tires are cracked, split, and dry rotted. Would that be enough that somehow, without having said anything about the tires, that would somehow be a problem in selling a used car? The answer is no.
Right, but I mean, if she took it and got it lifted, these are the things that should have been disclosed to me, knowing that I have 4 small children riding in the car with me. You don't do people like that. I work 3 jobs. I have 4 kids. I'm a single mother. I saved up all my hard working money from flipping burgers and working as a line cook and cleaning hotels to get messed up around, and I have to get back and forth to work.
No, I understand. And I feel bad for you, but the law doesn't change depending on who the plaintiff is. It's the law's the law's the law. So when you testify to me, where you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and you tell me she told you there were 4 new tires, I got to believe that for you to win. And I know, and I see the text back and forth before, and I see that the texts talk about the thermostat, and I see them talk about the new battery. I don't see them ever saying, and I put 4 new tires.
If I can add, yeah. Prior to her buying this car, she had purchased another vehicle that turned out to be a lemon. I felt bad for her, and I told her, I'm not going to do you like this prior guy did you and just sell
I
your
know,
car
I saw
and
your
leave you.
text saying that before the
Right.
sale and after the sale.
I never told her anything about new tires. I never seen that information that
she found in the glove
never seen that.
compartment.
I didn't know all that stuff was wrong with the car. And had I did, I would have disclosed it with her. You could
Well,
see
you
from
left it in the car. You weren't trying to hide anything because this thing was in the
Exactly.
car.
You can see from the pictures that those tires on that car, they don't even look new.
This is the wheel that ended up coming off,
Yeah,
right?
I never discussed with her that this car had 4 new tires on it. She told me when she had her tax return, all the things that she was going to do to get this car taken care of. She even told me that she was looking forward to putting a TV in this car.
I mean, this stinks that this happened to you. I don't mean to sound unsympathetic, but to tell her, lady, you got to pay her $1,200, she has to have lied about something. And
she did lie. She said she was not going to disappear on me. You're going to help me. So why would you tell me this?
But what? Okay,
come on now.
You know, what does that mean? That for the rest of your life that you own the car, she's paying for the repairs? You can't possibly think it means that.
If I can
stop talking, go ahead.
I even have text messages asking. She's asking me, where am I taking the vehicle to? You said you were going to help me pay for the repair. She said she was going to help me pay for this repair. And then she talked to her boyfriend, and then he's like, oh, well, my hands are washed. I don't care anymore.
Okay, and I understand that. And I'm going to assume that to be 100% true, and it kind of sounds like that from the text, because I did read the text. She can change her mind. And then it's on me whether or not this is something that she's legally required to pay for. This is an as-is sale, and she's not responsible for it. I'm very sorry that this happened to you. I wish it hadn't, but it did. And this document, it does not make her into a liar. That's why all of a sudden she told me 4 brand new tires, which I don't believe she said. And I believe you're actually perjuring yourself in my courtroom when you say she said that. But in any event, this does not make her culpable. And I'm ruling in favor of the defendant.
So the plaintiff fails to prove her case. Ms. Curry-Tippins, I'm sure everybody feels sorry for you, but you just didn't have the ammunition you needed. You understand?
I understand that. But I just feel like they need to come out with a better law, and they need to secure people that work hard for their money so they won't buy messed up cars, because what she did to me, that was wrong. And if somebody would have died, that would have been serious, and she really would have had a bigger lawsuit on her hands.
Well, she said she didn't realize how bad those tires were.
She knew something was wrong with that car.
She said she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Really. Thank you very much. Ms. Huff, you really had no clue they were that bad?
No. It wasn't a car I use every day, but I was driving that car myself. I would never put anybody's life in danger, including mine. Just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And I'm sorry it happened to her.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much. Okay. Harvey?
Okay, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Even if you're buying a used car and it's an old used car, you can always negotiate a warranty if it's important to you. And I gotta tell you, a lot of times it's important. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum, built for business by American Express.
This is the plaintiff, Anita Holland Moritz. She says she hired the defendant to install a new window in her rental cottage, but changed her mind because she was told by someone else she didn't need a new window after all. She'd prepaid the defendant for the work. They agreed he would return the labor portion of the money she gave him because he had purchased the window already, and she's still waiting for her money. She has no other choice but to sue him here today for the $1,000 he still owes her. So that's what she's doing. This This is the defendant, John Wilkinson. He says the plaintiff's forgetting he worked 20 hours fixing her chimney, and that's what the money he still has of hers is for. He doesn't know why the plaintiff has had a change of heart with him because he has done work for her for years without any problems and doesn't feel he has to return any of the money because he earned it. He's accused of holding on tight to his money.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to install a new window in her cottage. Now, she changed her mind, but the defendant won't return her money. The defendant says he fixed her chimney, and that's what she paid for. It's the case of chimney creep.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ms. Moritz, Mr. Wilkinson's been a kind of handyman for you throughout many years. You say that you requested from him this time to come and do some work on a rental cottage that you own, correct?
Yes.
All right, and you had a certain amount to spend, so it had to be within that budget.
That's correct, yes.
All right, so tell me what issues you had in the rental cottage this time.
There were two things. One was a chimney repair, and one was a window replacement.
And what kind of repair did the chimney need?
As it turned out, it needed a repair to the concrete cap on top of the chimney, and then there would be a metal rain cap or whatever on top of that.
Okay, so what work did you do? Because at some point you hired him in August, correct?
Yes, 2017.
And then you got sick right after that?
Actually, it goes just a few months before that. In February, I got diagnosed with a kidney problem. They had to take the kidney. And I recovered from that within a month, and I was back on the job doing a annex to the property that she rents.
Okay, but did something happen with your health that delayed this job? Because she didn't ask for her money back until 4 months later.
Well, in September, they had me back in for tests, and they had to take a bladder and a prostate and a few other parts, and so
I'm so
here I am.
sorry to hear that. How are you doing now?
I'm fine. This is just, this thing on my head is surgery for skin cancer. So I think they got it all this time. So,
Jeez.
But it has nothing to do with our relationship.
No, I understand. But that's what caused her to say, can I have my money back? It's been 4 months.
And I totally understand, except I did spend some time and resource preliminary to all of this. And when I finally did recover from that, I brought the window to get that going, and she decided she didn't want the window anymore.
When did you order the window?
Well, the window wasn't delivered until October.
That wasn't my question. When did you order it?
September.
Do you have proof that you ordered it in September?
Just a conversation with the special order guy. I don't have a piece of paper.
All right. It becomes relevant because she's upset because she says that she called you on what day?
I called the first week in October. I did not note that in my calendar. And I called again a second time, and I did note that in my calendar. It is part of my portfolio of evidence.
Right. You know what's much better thing is to either text or email so that there's actually a record of when the caller comes.
I don't do either.
I know. God bless you.
Sorry.
No, I'm so jealous.
But
totally
anyway.
jealous.
Anyway, when he came on the 1st of November with the window after I had called and I had not heard back from him, I said, but John, I canceled the window. He said, oh, you can't cancel the window. This is a special order. They don't,
Let me see what you do have from the window company.
And I believe that says October 13th. And I called the day before.
Prove that.
And I can't prove it.
Okay, that's what I know, because otherwise people can always say that, right?
It's a he said, she said situation.
Well, right. And did you ever get a call from her where she was canceling the window?
I got, not that I recall, but I was laid up at the time, and my daughters were supposed to be answering my calls for me.
All right, so you had originally asked for your $700 back because from your perspective, he's done nothing, right?
He said at that time, I will pay you back the $700.
Right, so that's what was happening. And then what happened? Why didn't you pay her back the $700?
Okay, I originally asked for, I said I'd pay back $300, not thinking about the fact that I'd already invested a significant amount of time.
What did you invest a significant amount of time doing that has a value to her?
Okay, I'm not here to ask for $700 to keep. She is entitled to some money. My problem is I can't do anything about the window. It's not It's not something, I'd hate to have to eat the window.
No, you're not going to eat
And I'd hate to have to lose my ladder, which is being held hostage.
Okay, where is his ladder and how is it being held hostage?
Well, I have to pay her before I can get the ladder back.
Is that what she told you?
Yes, but...
Did you say that to him?
No,
I
didn't say that. As a matter of fact, in the letter I wrote to him, by the way, you left your ladder here.
Did you say anything that sounded like that?
I don't.
If you ever want to see your ladder again alive, you better pay me my...
No, I didn't say anything like that.
She doesn't strike me as that type of person, I got to tell you.
She's not.
Okay, now let's discuss...
But the problem is, if I went to pick up the ladder, I was convinced that I was going to hear about giving all this money back.
So you just didn't feel like picking up your ladder because you didn't want to be harassed?
So if this construction guy owes her money, is she allowed to hold his ladder hostage until he pays?
Sure, it's collateral.
Well, it's okay, and I understand you could call that collateral. Is it legal to do that?
I don't know if it's legal, but...
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
You can go down the block if you want to do a different show. This is the legal show.
Yeah, I don't think it's legal because that's his livelihood. So without the ladder, he can't do his job.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
The issue then is, what work did you do
I climbed
that
up on the
entitles
roof.
you to keep $700 or any portion of it?
Okay, up on the roof, evaluating what we've got to do to try to stay within the $1,000 budget. Down off the roof, up onto the ceiling, filling up holes with a special foam that the squirrels and the bats won't eat.
So you sprayed the foam and filled in how many holes?
Maybe 3 good-sized ones, and then evaluating the window aspect and the framing aspect, and just running back to the lumberyard and doing some math. I mean, again, whatever you think is fair.
Did you do a simple thing on the chimney?
The chimney, I got up there and I figured out that it was going to be a lot more than I thought.
So you didn't do any work on the chimney?
The only work I did was I purchased a heavy-duty tarp. I placed it on with special reinforcements so it wouldn't blow away, and I sealed up, and I gave orders not to light any fires or anything because it was sealed.
And then, so you filled in the holes, and what else? Would you say something about electricity?
There was a light and the screen door.
You didn't do anything on the light? You just told her about it?
No, I had to fix. I was up on the ladder anyway.
That's what I'm asking you. What did you fix with the light?
The light had a short in it, and it maybe only took half an hour, 45 minutes to fix that.
I've heard enough. I think that for the few odds and ends that he did there, he's entitled to keep something. It's certainly not the $700. The window issue is a problem because that window was ordered. It was ordered in August, and by your own testimony, it wasn't until October that you canceled, but yet you can't prove to me having canceled. You don't have phone records to show it. You don't have an email or a text or a certified letter or anything to cancel it. And I need to see some proof that you had canceled it before he ordered it. So the window is yours to put in there someday that you may want to put it in there. Who knows? You have a new window and it's yours. So what's in play is the $700. And what's at issue is, based on what he's telling me he did, that you're acknowledging how much of that I'm going to allow him to keep. I'm going to allow him to keep $100. I'm ordering him to return to you the remaining $600. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the short, sweet answer to all of this is you cannot hold somebody else's property hostage even if they owe you money, only if you have a lien on that property.